Well, hey there, my friends. Welcome to my channel, Ink and Whimsy. I'm Laura Daniels, and I'm so glad you decided to spend a little bit of your day with me. I'm excited to scrapbook a 2-page 12 by 12 scrapbook layout using the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper, otherwise known as DSP. It has such a nostalgic look to it, and when I was home visiting Mom, she let me bring these photos home, and look at the tree with the tinsel. This is my Grandma and Grandpa Olga and Frank, and here with Grandma Olga's Auntie Millie, and then this is Grandpa with Uncle Fred. And just looking at these photos, oh my gosh, I wish I could just step back in time. So I really wanted to take my time to create a scrapbook layout that would honor these photos and all the memories I have tied up with my Grandma and Grandpa. We'll be using the Yuletide Village stamp set, as well as a lot of the pieces that I fussy cut out of these beautiful pages. So I'm going to move all this to the side, and we're going to see how the first 12 by 12 page comes together, because y'all know you need to wait a couple of days to see page 2. So let me scoot these out of the way and we'll get started. Now, I have already used a glue dot to hold this piece of paper down, and I'm going to start with this beautiful candy cane. I just love it. I love it, love it. So I struggled with this layout. Excuse me. I struggled with this layout for over an hour after I had, figured out the basics of it. But then I put this way, and then I had it this way. But I finally decided to have it this way. And the reason being is I wanted to have a lot of white, because the photos, I don't know what you call this, patina, but they look very, very old. You can even see the date, and it says December 1968. I didn't want to cut these in any way, so they have this beige, they have the beige matte behind the photo, which lends itself to almost being kind of dark. So I didn't want to have a lot of print. I wanted white, and you will see how it comes together. I know you have white and beige kind of don't go together, but I wanted to work with the photos I had without changing them. So we're going to set those aside, and the first thing we'll do, and look at this, I cut these out, and I'm going to use them in today's layout. We're going to create like a little fireplace mantle type design using the Yuletide Village. So we're going to put this down right here. And then we're going to take this thin strip, because I want to finish off this edge. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know we did. Our daughter, Lauren Ashley, invited us, which she does every year now, up their house in Chattanooga for Christmas. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Christmas. She invited us up their house, as they do every year, to celebrate Thanksgiving. And our son was there from South Carolina with his wife, and our granddaughter, Diana Rose, who is 5. And then our son-in-law's parents were there. And then, of course, Jerry and I. And we took some great photos. All right. So I hope that your Thanksgiving was just as special. Now I've already gone ahead and done my journaling, so I'm going to tell you the story in a little bit. But one of the first things I wanted to show you is this scene that I created right here with the Yuletide Village. So you can see I used the church, I used the double story, and the one that looks like a little cottage, and I used the tree. And I want to show you how I did the tree, because you can see it looks like the tree is in front of this little house right here. It's because I did what is known as masking. So I stamped the church and the two-story house right next to each other, just on a block, and you can see how the snow line matches right here. And all you do is just match that up when you're laying down the stamp. So after I stamped the two of these, I stamped the tree, right? So I have all three of those images stamped. After I had stamped that, I wanted this to be behind it, but I wanted it one continuous piece of ephemera. So all I did after I stamped it, you just stamp the same image on a sticky note, and you cut it out and you lay it right there, and then you take out what you want to stamp next. For me, it was this little village, the little cottage, and I stamp it right over the sticky note. But when you lift it up, it's behind the tree. You see how neat that works? So that's called masking, for anyone who doesn't know it. And I want to share with you the colors I used and some of the techniques. Now, you see, I started off with crumb cake, light crumb cake, and then I used dark crumb cake. But along the bottom of each of these is where I used the light crumb cake. And then I used a white gel pen to do the little dots for snow. And then for the windows, I did light and dark Daffodil Delight. And where you see the cross shape, you know, the window panes, you go up and down like a cross with the light, and then you go in another section with the dark Daffodil Delight. That way you get the two-tone light coming out of the window. And then on each of these, like this one right here, I used light cherry cobbler. But first I took the dark and went right under the eaves and under the window, and then I kind of staggered it coming down, and then I pulled the rest of it down with the light cherry cobbler. And then at the very bottom is where I did the light crumb cake. Okay? So this was my plan for this. I'm very excited. I want it to look like a mantle of sorts up here. So let me, and I want it to come out on either edge and go up just far enough right there, which I'm going to clip the very tip of this off. Okay. So I want this about right here. And I wanted to bring in this beautiful ribbon paper. And this paper is a huge sheet of DSP. And I literally took my time fussy cutting around it. Now, if you don't like to fussy cut, I don't know how to help you with that. This is just, it just needs to be fussy cut. That's it. So this, I wanted it to look like a mantle. So we're going to put those now before I show you the rest of how we're going to put this together. And I'm dealing with a horrible cough, so I apologize because I keep doing the believe me, it is just as annoying to me. So I'm going back and forth between a cough drop and talking to you. It's like I can't wait 2 weeks before I film another video. So what is one of your favorite traditions around Thanksgiving? One of ours is that after when the Macy's Day Parade, when that ends and Santa is coming across the screen, I have already poured a little shot glass for everybody in their tiny little Santa mugs, shot glasses. And little Diana Rose had some grape sparkly. And as soon as Santa comes across the screen, we all lift a toast to the holiday season. And it's fun. And I knew everyone liked it as much as I do when my daughter goes, Mom, are you going to bring the peppermint bark liqueur and the shot glasses? I go, oh, absolutely, if you want to do it. So I need to move this over a titch. I don't like the way it was. We're going to go right there. Okay. All right, so this is going to be like our fireplace mantle. And next, I wanted to hang as if we had stockings hanging from it. So they're going to be underneath like that. And I am not going to raise them up. I think I want them. Do I want them right there? How about right there? That's where we'll put them. Can't make these things too complicated, can we? You should have seen me trying to figure out what to do with those photos because of that beige or that, oh, that's pretty even. Hope I wasn't in the way. All right, and I think I need to draw like a little hook there, don't I? Something that shows, and you know what? I don't want to use black. Oh my gosh. What color is this right here? This is real red. That'll work. And I am just going to go just like that. That's all I need is for one right there. And go around. All right. All right, there we go. Now, I want to add the photo of Grandma and Grandpa. And I struggled. It's just such a off yellow photo. And the only thing I could come up with was to mat it on a cream color. And believe me, I've tried a lot of colors. To mat it, it didn't have a little tear right there, on a very off-white, I forget what it's called with Stampin' Up. But to mat it on this, and oh my gosh, okay, can we talk about this? Grandma wrote on the back of the photos, and I mentioned this in my journaling. And on the next page, part B, I show you how I saved these. So when I glue this down, I'm going to be careful not to put the tape runner over the ink in case anytime in the future someone wants to read the back of these. So I am just going to go right here along the side. You know, oftentimes when we talk about journaling, a lot of us will go, oh my gosh, I don't want to put my writing on there. It's not going to look good. I have scratchy writing. And yet I look at the back of my grandmother's photo. She sent this to my mom. We were in Nebraska at the time. And when I see her writing, I am just flooded with emotions. And I feel so much closer to her just seeing her handwriting. I am not quite sure where I want to put this yet, because I have something to do down here. So let's hold on. I'm just going to tip that over. What I do want to bring out is my journaling, and I'm going to set it right here. Now, I didn't want to do anything around the edges. I wanted it to blend in with the white background, and I realized I could have used some of that sticker paper. I have yet to figure out how to do that. But I am quite happy with this. And the point is, you just need to be happy with what you're doing, right? And I am happy. I am happy. All right, here we go. Yeah, that looks very pretty. All right, now I'm going to have a cluster down here. I'm going to have this here and I have the photo up here. So first, I want to work on the cluster of a tree and a Santa. And I need to stop this for a second. I wanted to show you where I got this tree right here. It is from an old Stampin' Up stamp and die set called Whimsical Trees. And it has this tree in here that you cut out with this die. So I used, what was it, shaded spruce. And then I used a very light green. I'm not sure which one this is because I didn't have Pretty Peacock, so I used a different color with Stampin' Up. And then this die right here cuts this out. Isn't that pretty? Because I wanted to bring in some of the teal, peacock, whatever color they're using that I didn't have on hand, but they did. It was shaded spruce, and then I used this color. And the little snowflakes here, they're called white loose snowflakes. So I put a tiny little glue dot and I used this Hoot-A-Gator, and see how it has the little bit of putty right up at the top. This is the I'm about to say pick me up tool. Gosh. Okay, so I know a lot of you were laughing with me, and as soon as that came out of my mouth, I go, that is not what it's called. And I do that all the time. I will kind of twist my words around just enough that you know what I'm talking about, but you don't know what I'm talking about. This is your take your pick tool, not your pick me up tool. But, you know, in my defense, it is picking up stuff. And it picks up these tiny little snowflakes so easily. So I did a little glue dot and I used the take your pick tool and added the little snowflake. So I wanted to add the tree right here. And then I have this Santa. Now this is from another Stampin' Up set that I had. And this one is called St. Nicholas. And you can see I used this Santa right here. And I also colored in his little bag of toys because this is the 1960s. It's old. We're talking vintage. So I really wanted to bring that out in the scrapbook page altogether. So the first thing we're going to do is just stick down my delightful looking tree. And I want this, because I have this down on the bottom, so I'm not worried about going to the very bottom of the page. And I'm going to put a few things down here. And then I have his toy bag, and I want to put that up on some dimensionals. And here we have some. Put this right in front of the tree, about right here. And then I have this tiny little piece that I fussy cut out, and it is from the Sentimental Christmas. And then I want Santa back here, so I'm going to put Santa down first. We're going to figure out where we want him. I want him kind of, I do want it there so I can kind of see where I'm placing everything. I think about right there. Okay. And then I want to put this down on dimensionals also. So let's see. Look at the pretty blue ball ornaments. Alrighty. Alright, so let's put this down. Put that about right there. So that is my little decorative corner. And now we're going to put down the photo. And I want to put it about, well, under his head. How far do I want to go down here? I think I want to put it about right there. That looks good. Okay. All right. What do you think? All right. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is along the snow in the bottom of the village, I went along all the edges with light pool party. It gives it like a nice shadow. And then I already pointed out how I used light crumb cake along the bottoms of the buildings. And then I used, excuse me, the color lifter when I was trying to blend down at the bottom so that it looked softer. So let me lift this up right now to give you a closer look at everything we've done. And I'm going to read you the first half of this. But I love this picture of Grandma and Grandpa. And I think my favorite is this mantle right here with the Yuletide snowy village. And you have the stockings at the hanging from it. And then, of course, we have the Santa with the tree down here. And I'm going to read to you the actual journaling. And then in the next video, I'm going to show how I saved the actual handwriting of Grandma's. And here's my journaling, because a lot of people ask me to share it with you so you have an idea of, like, what do you write when you're trying to tell a story? Especially, so I was never there, right? So here's my journaling. A rush of nostalgia envelopes me. Okay. A rush of nostalgia envelops me as I look at these photos from Christmas 1968 at Grandma and Grandpa's house in Brockton, Mass. I'm flooded with memories of our visits there and Grandma's Italian sauce. My eyes settle on Grandma Olga as she looks at the presents under the tree with Auntie Millie on the back. And on the back of the photo, Grandma wrote a note to Mom. Notice, she says, the kids in the picture. So up close, that's me and my brother and I. I wish I could step back in time and be there to watch that day unfold. In the photos, I see presents waiting to be opened, the beautiful tree dressed with tinsel strands, and the branches hung with red Christmas bulbs. I wonder what things they talked about and what Grandma was cooking for dinner. I don't think it was sauce, since Uncle Fred was a meat and potatoes man. I love the photo of Grandma and Grandpa in front of the television set. Uncle Frank built the manger, and Grandma wrote on the back of the photo, notice the stable Butch made for me. It's as long as the TV. I love seeing Grandma's handwriting. It seems to stop time. And if I close my eyes, I can vividly imagine that living room as if I was standing on the carpet right now. I'm so glad Mom had these photos and I could scrapbook them today. What a precious gift. And isn't it a precious gift? The photos look old, but they are so incredibly precious to me. And I'm excited to show you how the second page comes together. So until we meet again in just a few days, God bless, my friends. Have an incredible day and share with me if you have tried to scrapbook photos from 40, 50 years ago? And how did that work for you? What was your biggest struggle when you were doing that? I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.